When I go to the bookstore, the first section I go to, and basically the only section I go to, is the true crime. I love true crime, and I love a good Hollywood true crime story. Well, today I have a crime story. It's a Hollywood crime story. It involves 3 different kind of killers. It involves DNA I got from one of the killers. It involves an autograph that one of the killers got from one of the other killers and gave to me. It involves all kinds of things. It's not a book that you'll read it in the library or at the bookstore, because this is my killer story here today, and I'm going to tell you about it. One day, an autograph shows up from Charles Manson to me, and inside the envelope it was, "To Charles, God bless, Robert Blake." How and why he got a picture autographed by Robert Blake? Yeah, that was my next question to him as well.
This call and your telephone number will be recorded and monitored. I have a collect call from
Charles. What about the guy in Lawndale? The one that was our Spanky, our gang Spanky's fan club president? Hey.
Spanky's fan club president?
Yeah. You don't remember him?
Who's Spanky of our gang? That was the Little Rascals, right?
Yeah.
Oh, that was a long time ago.
Well, that's what's happening now with that Red Ryder thing. What's his name? Blake?
Robert Blake, yeah.
Yeah, that was his gang.
Oh, yeah, that's right. He was in there, huh?
Yeah.
He got the picture through Spanky's fan club president. This is Spanky. On the Little Rascals, that's all the Little Rascals. They had a reunion, and Robert Blake was also there, but he's not in the picture anyplace. And evidently, Charles Manson was able to get an autograph of Robert Blake through the fan club president of Spanky. And I was interested in Robert Blake because Robert Blake was now on trial for murder. Right down the street from, well, not right down the street from where I live, but in Van Nuys, pretty much 12 miles from where I live. So I was there every day. I was there every day, and I would stand right next to Robert Blake, as close as I am to you right now, and I would talk to him. Most of the time he never talked back because he seemed like he was an old, degenerate old man, but he smoked a lot of cigarettes, I'll tell you that. He was like outside all the time. So that's why I was able to even get close to him, because he had to come outside so he was able to smoke. Coming outside, being able to smoke, now people walk up to you, and that was me every single day. He finally started talking to me. I told him a lot about Manson. He told me some things about Manson too that you're going to be interested to know, that they were pretty connected. One of the most bummer of things though, every single time he'd come outside, I could never ever. It was well before. I mean, we had cell phones. We had crappy cell phones, the flip phones, and I think there was flip. I'm not sure even. It was well before the good phones with the good pictures and all that, so you had to carry a camera around. I actually had a cheap camera with me all the time. I got a few pictures of him outside smoking, and I'll show you those later, but I could never get a selfie of him because of the fact of this. He'd come outside, stand by the ashtray in front of the court. Well, the media bugged him so much, and they were always snapping pictures at him. The judge put a court order out that there was a perimeter area where you couldn't take out the camera and take a picture of him. So one day I did ask him, "Hey man, can you take a picture with me?" He's like, "You want to get us arrested?" I'm like, "No, outside the perimeter." He's like, "No, I can't go out there." So he never went out there. But when he did go out there, I was able to snap pictures of him. And I have a few of them in here, and I'll show you those.
He was a lot of things, Robert Blake was.
Yeah, he did a lot of trips. I used to have Red Ryder's horse.
I know exactly who you're talking about. Red Ryder was like a little Indian boy, huh?
Yeah, no, Red Ryder was Wild Bill Elliot. And that Little Beaver guy was Blake.
Oh, that's right. He was Little Beaver. That's right. That's right. And they probably did that at Melody Ranch, right out here where I live.
Yeah, that's where my generation was. I got all trapped up.
So now I was at the courthouse, and I was talking to Robert Blake about Charles Manson sometimes, and I would come home and I would talk to Charles Manson about Robert Blake. Did you know that Robert Blake was in a movie called In Cold Blood? It was a true story. It was he played a killer in it, I can't remember what the killer's name was, but do you remember MTV as well, where they used to have the video would play and all of a sudden they'd have a pop-up fact along the bottom? Well, boop, here's a pop-up fact about Truman Capote. He was also at Charles Manson's trial. So in that, Charles Manson says that he had Red Ryder's horse. That is a possibility, because one of Red Ryder's horses, when he quit the episode, there started another episode and he sold the horse to the guy who was doing the next episode. Well, where they were filming it at was right across the street from Spawn Ranch. So when the show ended, did the horse end up at Spawn Ranch? Very well could have, and Manson could have very well been riding that horse like he says. He had a Red Ryder's horse. He met at Spawn Ranch when he showed up there in 1969. This was in about the 1940s, I believe, 1944 or something like that. I'm not really sure, but I believe it was in the 40s. And then the other Red Ryder was probably around the 50s, so the horse would have been older in the 60s. I don't know. Did Manson ride Red Ryder's horse? Anyway, he was a big fan of the show because he signed this autograph to me. This is Manson's autograph, and it shows that Red Ryder was. And this is that autograph. So you even put hero. Red Ryder. And there's a Little Beaver right there. See? And there's Manson's signature right there. The Vigilantes of Dodge City. Like I said, I could get Robert Blake to talk very little. I mean, he talked very little. But he did mention that he was one of his connections to Charles Manson. One of them was on this night here. This is the like the opening page of program for the 29th annual Emmy Awards. It was nighttime programming, televised on NBC television, and it was in Pasadena, and the hosts and hostess were Robert Blake and Angie Dickinson. And nominated this night was the movie Helter Skelter that was on television. So that was one connection that Robert Blake had to Charles Manson. He was the one that was the host the night that Helter Skelter sort of won an Emmy. I don't know if it won an Emmy for some kind of category, but it came close. Anyway, it was nominated, and this was the night. Robert Blake and Angie Dickinson. Didn't Angie Dickinson play like the policewoman or something? And Robert Blake was Beretta, so it was kind of like crime themed anyway. But that's the front page out of the program, the real front page too, because I took it out. The rest of it, there was people like the Waltons and, Louis Gossett Jr., look, he was nominated that night, and he actually won. Good thing he didn't go to that party. So I'm spending a whole lot of time at Robert Blake's trial. When Manson would call me at night, I would inform him of, hey, I was at Robert Blake's trial, and he would inform me of what was going on, just like we did throughout all the trials. Talk to him about OJ, talk to him about Michael Jackson, talk to him about Robert Blake. We talked about current events and trials a lot. And now I was at Robert Blake's trial, and I had the opportunity to find out that, wow, these two guys really actually kind of sort of knew each other. If they didn't know each other personally, boy, they knew of each other real well. From the autograph that I got from Manson to Robert Blake telling me about Helter Skelter and when he did the Emmy thing. Not only did I find out that Robert Blake did the Emmy thing, but Robert Blake was married. He was married to one of the chicks that was in Helter Skelter. And guess what? Robert Blake, she came out and she said that Robert Blake set up a plan to have her murdered on one of the nights of the filming in the Sharon Tate house to make it look like retribution, like Manson did it. So Robert Blake was actually supposed to set up a murder plot against her before he ever killed this wife. He was supposed to kill another wife, and he was supposed to make it look like Manson did it. Yep, that's what his wife said. There it is. In a bombshell testimony, Robert Blake's first wife claims he once hired a hitman to kill her. I found out from several people that he had put a contract out on me, and the man I was seeing, Kerr Blake, testified. She's been shooting Helter Skelter with Railsback, who played Charles Manson in a 1976 film. The hit was chillingly stated to take place during a card game at the house where Sharon Tate was slaughtered by Manson followers. It was designed to look like retribution for making the movie, but the two skipped the game and foiled the plot, according to Kerr Blake. Back to what it's like to be at a famous Hollywood murder trial. Standing there all of a sudden, wasting a lot of time because nothing really happens. Just walk around, look around. There's a lot of people there. There's a lot of news media there. A lot of news media talking to people about what they think and whatever the people think. And all of a sudden, bang, bang, bang. You hear gunshots. Seriously. It's in Van Nuys, so you hear gunshots anyway sometimes, but these gunshots were really close. A lot of people started running towards the gunshots. A lot of people started running away from the gunshots. I judged which way to go from the gunshots. Found out later on that after the event, after they'd already tackled the guy to the ground, I was standing there then, but found out that one of the clients came out of the courthouse chasing after his attorney, trying to kill him, got him behind a tree, and he was shooting at him, but the attorney was behind the tree and then using the tree as to block the gunshots. That guy eventually got life in prison. You can look him up. Look up during the Robert Blake trial, client comes out and shoots as his attorney. Our conversation sways a little bit from Robert Blake, but it's still on to Robert Blake a little bit because of the fact that Manson doesn't really like crime TV. He doesn't like people who play like Beretta on TV. He doesn't like those kind of characters at all. Robert Blake also played another killer in Cold Blood. You know, he was playing killers all the time. Then he was playing cops all the time. So he's jumping back and forth. He could do whatever he wanted. Manson didn't like that. He did not like people portraying criminals. He thought the criminals should be able to portray themselves. And the criminals actually own their own stories, like it or not. Son of Sam or no Son of Sam, the criminals are the ones that created them stories, and they own those stories, and they should get credit, and they should get paid for those stories. That's just the way he thought about it. And if they didn't get paid, you shouldn't be making them. End of story. And he's right. He's absolutely correct. They should be getting paid for that. And if they aren't getting paid for it, you shouldn't make the stories. You shouldn't steal from them. That's where we get into the conversation here.
Are you on that Manson.com?
I'm not. That's not me. But I could. I've seen the shit before. I've seen them all.
Well, what are they? What's happening with all that, man? Am I making any money on you?
Probably. You're making money for everybody. Every time I turn my back, you're making money. You're making money for the Los Angeles Times. You're making money for Court TV.
Why ain't somebody sending me something?
You're making money for Geraldo. You're making money for everybody. You just ain't making no money for you.
I ain't got
a lot of times you'll see on television shows or webs or web pages or whatever that, hey, I got Charles Manson's television and it's haunted. Well, I can tell you that I bought Charles Manson like 5 different television sets, had about 4 of them in my house, and never one time were they haunted. All they ever did was took up a whole lot of space. That's it. And then I thought, why do I even have Charles Manson's television set here? So now I know why. That's exactly why they make up the it's haunted, because what are you going to do with a television set otherwise? So it's Manson's TV. Okay, fine. Still takes up a lot of space in the closet. He wants a television now.
Call is from an inmate at a California correctional facility.
Yeah, I'm trying to get a package and get some stuff now, man. I'm trying to get a television.
Where what is your number now?
333-920.
Yeah, I know that. I've got that memorized.
Yeah.
You're back in the PHU?
Uh-huh.
And is there a number there? Like number 40, number 38?
Yeah, I'm 45.
45.
Yeah.
45.
Yeah, I'm 1945.
Yeah, 45. When were you born?
34.
34.
So it's something to do.
That's when that's probably about when Blake was born, 45, huh?
Yeah, around in that area. Yeah.
This is a story about Hollywood that I know you've never heard.
I had pancakes at breakfast at Musso Frank's on Hollywood Boulevard with Wild Bill Elliot.
Oh, really?
Yeah, when I first came to California, I was thrilled. Yeah.
I like that. Wild Bill Elliot. What did he do?
Oh, he was just a cowboy. He talked like he had a mouthful of marbles all the time.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He was like a Hopalong Cassidy or Gene Autry or
Roy Rogers,
Roy Rogers,
Tom Mix.
Yeah, Tom Mix, all them kind of guys.
They were tough guys.
Manson didn't think real highly of Hollywood. There was always some sort of conspiracy theory coming out of that place. And he didn't believe that, I don't know if he didn't believe that Robert Blake didn't kill his wife. I mean, he was acquitted, so basically, but then later on, and he was found liable for it. I don't even know what that means. You get acquitted for it. Okay, you don't have to go to jail, but later you're liable for it, but you have to pay. Same thing happened to OJ. You know, it's like, okay, later on they make that doesn't make a whole lot of sense. They need to make the rules a little bit closer together so that doesn't happen anymore. But anyway, I think maybe Manson might have thought that there was some sort of maybe conspiracy theory going on in Hollywood where Hollywood could make you famous or they could take you out.
Yeah, he was he had a pickup truck out the back door. You know, like a shotgun and all that, you know.
Yeah, out in the back window.
Yeah, you know, like there's a downside to, I don't believe it. There's a play to take over the uniform, you know. There's a dead man walking in behind all this.
Robert Blake knew how to play the killer well in the movies. But like Manson says,
not playing anymore. You know,
This
so
recorded call is from an inmate at a California correctional facility.
all those people that stole stole what they thought was mine, stole my tree and my life here, and went to New York with it, so they could get rich and make some money. They thought they were going to get away with that, but I don't think there's no getting away with anything. I think sooner or later everything comes around, it goes around.
Yeah, it does. It does. It really does. I call it karma. Some people do.
Yeah.
I believe that too. That's why I try not to screw anybody over.
Yeah.
Only for that main reason too, because I don't want to.
Yeah. You don't want to fuck yourself up.
No, it fucks up your own world.
Yeah. That's right. That's right.
So I just try to avoid that shit.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't. A lot of people like drama.
Well, that's their business.
Yeah, I think somebody hijacked that website, because all they're doing is selling music on there that isn't. I mean, it's your music, but it isn't your music. I mean, it's your music, but it's copied. That somebody copied it onto CD that off of other CDs, and then they're selling it. It's just all crazy. I don't know what. So many people, you'd be amazed. Maybe you wouldn't be amazed, but you'd be amazed at all the people that use your name on a daily basis just to make money.
Yeah.
And then on the same token, they badmouth you.
Yeah.
I don't understand that.
Well, it makes them feel like they're bigger.
Yeah, if you get $1, they take it off of you because you can't have it because you're this bad guy. But if they can make $1 on you by talking about how bad you are, that's okay. That doesn't make no sense to me.
there I am during the trial. I made it on Court TV. And there I am too. And there I am again. It was live Court TV. This is the Court TV area, and that's me and Vinnie during the Robert Blake trial. That's Vinnie. I was right almost inside his booth with him, and that's Robert Blake's over in this area right in here. Actually, Robert Blake's right there. This is when Robert Blake's getting the thing cut off his leg. That's how far away I was from him. He had that little device on his leg, the tracking thing. And there's Vinnie in a picture that I took of him. I had to get into a swarm of people to get these pictures of Robert that day. Court TV has a picture of my arm getting this picture. I can show you the picture to show you how big of a swarm of people I had to be in just to get these. I told you I got Robert Blake's DNA. That's right there. It's on the end of that. See that? I got both the match and the DNA stick that he threw down that day. I even got Polaroids of it. He's coming out of the courthouse, is in the background there. Lights up the cigarette right there. And before you know it, he throws it down to go inside, and whammo. I got Vinnie's autograph that day, too. So, that's my killer story. My Hollywood killer story of court trial with Robert Blake, where I got his DNA, where I almost seen another guy shoot another guy who was a client and a lawyer. Manson got Robert's autograph for me and gave it to me, and then gave me his autograph on something that had to do with Robert Blake. I got Robert Blake's DNA. I ought to clone him. Until next time. And we have something else to talk about that's related to true crime, in some way related to Charles Manson. We'll see you in peace.